I grew up in the Methodist church. My mother grew up in the Methodist church. My grandmother grew up in the Methodist church. And my great-grandmother grew up in the Methodist church. And I'm not sure how far it goes back from there. So I've been a lifelong Methodist. And we went to church every Sunday. If we were home, we were in church. When I first came to Tech, I told my mother that I would visit every Methodist church before I decided which one I wanted to join. So the first Sunday, me and a bunch of the guys from the dorm went to First Methodist downtown, and 30 years later, I came to St. John's. I really liked First Church. I was very active there, and have a lot of great friends that go there. But I started running around with some friends that came here to St. John's, and so I would visit with them some, and then my favorite preacher from First Methodist left, and so I started coming here more, and so I decided I would just join. It took a long, hard decision and a lot of thought because I really loved my church home at First Church downtown. I visited First Church for 8 years before I actually joined. And then I joined St. John's in 2003. So I actually went to First Church for 30, and then I've been St. John's for 19. And then I became involved with the worship committee and have served on it, I can't even tell you how many years, chaired it for many years. Sunday someone asked me, we had someone at the time making our communion bread, and when they couldn't make it, they would call me and said, "Hey, Robby, I'm not going to be in town this weekend. Could you take care of the communion bread?" So I would buy an unsliced loaf of bread at United and bring it up here. And then someone asked me if we could do a gluten-free communion bread for those people who can't do gluten. But when I first started, because it was very time-consuming and tedious with those 13 ingredients, making sure I had the right amounts of each ingredient, I thought to myself, what have I got myself into? But one First Friday Art Trail, I was at in a gallery, and one of the members that go to the early service stopped me. He said, "Aren't you the guy that makes our communion bread at St. John's?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "Well, thanks to you, I can now take communion." And so after that, it has been a breeze. It never bothered me. It was not a problem. I thought it's worth, if someone can take communion that hadn't been able to, it's certainly worth it. And then later someone asked if we could do it egg-free, and so I started doing it egg-free, and now we also do it dairy-free. So it's totally gluten-free, dairy-free, and egg-free. One of the things I like about ushering is I'm able to greet people as they come in, whether they're visiting or they are a longtime member. I always like to welcome them to the service, and I just think that always is good, especially for visitors, that they at least feel welcome and they're greeted with a smile. One of my very favorite services at St. John's is the late service on Christmas Eve night. Advent is usually a busy time getting the sanctuary ready for the season, getting the poinsettias out, the nativity out, and all the other Christmas things that we do here at St. John's. But Christmas Eve night, as everyone is nearly gone, I'm usually one of the last ones to leave, just walking out to my car. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and you just kind of feel the presence of God with you. And that's just really one of my most very favorite worship services here at St. John's. One of the nice things about St. John's and being a smaller church, you feel the sense of community because you develop wonderful friendships that just carry on, even though a lot of these friendships you might just see once a week, but when you come to church, you feel like you're with family. Every day I try to read devotional, and I always like to jot down either something I get from that devotional, either a prayer or a scripture, and lots of times I'll put a little asterisk by it and I'll go back and read it again. I just try to do that to have positive thoughts throughout the day. And one of the things that a few things that I really like that I have written down in the past, that we should live and love as Christ loves us. I think that's very meaningful. And another one is God respects no one person over another. If we are Christ followers, neither should we. I like that. This I wrote down, and it's part of my daily prayers that I ask for God to guide my past, my decisions, and my heart. And I certainly think we can that could be one of our prayers for St. John's, that God will guide St. John's past, St. John's decisions, and the heart of St. John's.